team sucks.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jays. Thank you for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. I'm Braden Iwasko. He's Carter First. You guys can find us on Twitter, Braden5 Iwasko, Carter First too. We are your home for all things Blue Jays all the time. It is I'm just sad, and I'll get into that. But, I was more hyped to say this before. Now it's looking like a terrible decision. We're headed to Toronto, May 17th to the 20th, going to be for the Tampa series. It will be country night. Let us know if you guys got any great suggestions of where to go. We're looking for bars. We're looking for restaurants, places to visit, I guess, in our spare time of not watching Blue Jays baseball. As well, you guys check us out on TikTok and Instagram at Locked On Blue Jays as well. Hit the subscribe button if you're here on YouTube. If you are listening on any other podcasting platform, really appreciate it. Keep it rolling. Carter, I don't know, man. It's over. It's done. It's done. I got nothing. I honest to God, it was hard to watch. They scored 3 runs. 10-1 defeat against the Phillies. They scored 3 runs before the second inning ended. It was over. It was over in the second inning. Could have stopped watching. Could have turned the TV off.
Yeah, I actually tweeted it right away. You get down early in the game against Christopher Sanchez, who looked like Cy Young out there again. Absolutely crazy how we're just making these Phillies starting rotating pitchers just looking unbelievable with this offense. Jose Berrios gets smacked around for the first time this year. When your ace gets demolished after all of the ups and downs, mostly downs, honestly, over the last few weeks, and then your ace gets killed against the Phillies, you always think it's going to get better, and it just somehow continues to get worse. It is getting harder and harder to watch these games. 16-20 now, 4 games below 500, and it doesn't get easier. We have the Orioles coming up. We got the Rays, a ton of tough series coming up. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know if any other Blue Jays fans know where to go from here. We just need changes. I don't care what it is at this point. Something has to change.
I'm speechless, to be honest with you. Our roommate Justin said it best, I think, on our Instagram post. I went to the car and complained to TikTok and Instagram and Shorts for like 15 minutes. Sat in the car, I wallowed a little bit, and then I went and got a McDonald's drink and a fry because I was just like, all right, enough's enough here. I gotta do something. And it's horrible. It's horrible to watch. We've put out, I don't know how much content about the changes that could be made, that should be made, up and down. John Schneider, Ross Atkins, the superstars not being superstars. I mean, we've revisited everything about 1,000 times, moving George Springer, changing the lineup. Nothing's happening. And I don't know. I'll get into John Schneider in the second bit here, but I think we got to start with Jose Berrios. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not as mad at him as I thought I would be. It's his first bad start. It was going to happen eventually. It's just when he has a bad start on top of everything else that's going on, it's sort of like salt in the wounds a little bit. And I don't know, Carter, Jose Berrios, how'd you feel?
One thing that I was holding on to, the only sliver of hope, is that before today's game, among qualified pitchers, Jose Berrios was leading the league in ERA. We don't have a lot of good going for us as Toronto Blue Jays fans, so this is something I really needed for this team. And then he gets absolutely smacked, albeit by a great Phillies lineup. This lineup's disgusting. Didn't even have Alek Bohm, JT Realmuto, or Trey Turner in this lineup, and it still looked unbelievable. How fun would it be to have a Philadelphia Phillies offense that can actually score runs, put up a quick little 10 spot on one of the best pitchers in the AL? It's absolutely insane. But Jose Berrios, got to go over the stat line here. 3 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 8 runs, all of them being earned. 7 Ks, 2 walks. Again, not his greatest performance. I mean, a tough slate there with the Bryce Harper grand slam. We'll get into that sequence of events later. And then that's a tough located slider. Again, Jose Berrios has been so good all year. It just, we needed a win so badly, or even a competitive game so badly. We were so down in the dumps, and it got even worse. Again, you can't be overly mad about Jose Berrios. Again, terrible start, let's be honest. But there's so much more that is wrong with this team that, again, I'm also cutting Jose Berrios a little bit of slack here because the Toronto Blue Jays offense, man, again, Jose Berrios could have went 7 innings, gave up 2 earned runs. This team scored 1 run in the entire game. Christopher Sanchez is not even a top 3 pitcher in this Philadelphia Phillies rotation. We got Aaron Nola next game. It's hard to get excited about this team when you see the same thing over and over every single game in, game out.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I mean, to start with Jose Berrios, it wasn't good. But then, I mean, the rest of the bullpen wasn't great. Zach Pop actually had a, pretty good day. He threw 3 pitches, got 3 outs, and was yanked. I don't understand in that situation why Tim Meza or Erik Swanson is going in.
It doesn't matter at that point.
You keep the guy in, you save some arms. I don't like with a bullpen that's already depleted. You are now throwing 2 more guys than probably necessary. Zach Pop could have finished that game.
I mean, at this point for me, it could be argued that I'm more confident in Zach Pop than I am in Tim Meza and Erik Swanson.
Yeah,
so maybe
for
they're
sure.
saving Agarm for higher leverage situations. They're trying to get Hanny Guerrero to get something going. I think he pitched as well. Tim Meza, Erik Swanson, 3 of the worst relievers so far on this team. You might as well get their innings in. I mean, we're already down 8-0 at that point. Like, the game is over. There's really no point of watching it. Again, maybe you write it with Zach Pop in a different situation, but again, he's so effective. I don't know.
I'm just saying,
I don't even care.
In a different situation, maybe, but like, I just don't understand why we have. Let me just take a look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pitchers in a 10-1 ball game. It doesn't make any sense to me. Save some guys' arms, give guys off days. It's game's over. You could have put in somebody and let them ride out the rest of the game, starting in the 3rd inning. To be honest with you, we weren't coming back. It was over. It was done. The Jays were dead, and it looked like it. I'll go over some of the players' lines too because it was terrible. And I know you guys are all probably coming on here expecting us to have some profound answer or breakdown, but what do we break down? George 1 for 4, grounds into a double play as well, like just horrible. Vlad 0 for 3, JT 1 for 4, good at bats again though. Bo 0 for 4, couldn't have looked worse. I said in the TikTok, the first 2 at bats you might as well have just given them the strikeout because he wasn't touching a baseball. The 4th at bat, he put a good hit on it. It got caught. Tough. Danny Jansen, beauty. He's playing unbelievable. And that doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Great for him. Doesn't matter for the team because he can't do it alone. David Schneider, 0 for 3 with a walk. Not a good day from him either. Kirk 1 for 3. IKF 1 for 3. Kiermaier 0 for 2. It's just not going to do it. It's just not going to do it, Carter. And I don't know how many times we can continue to sit here and go over the same stuff before it's just, and I know we're going to get some people saying that we're just complaining to complain. But you tell me that you haven't, like, we've watched damn near every game this year. And how much longer can they expect an average fan to jump on and watch Blue Jays baseball when it's this?
There's almost nothing good to take away from it. I mean, Christopher Sanchez goes 7 innings. Like, you're not even getting to the Phillies bullpen. They have a great bullpen at that as well. It's so frustrating. And these games, they're not even close. That's the problem. We're getting smoked 10-1. Like, you can turn the game off in the 3rd inning. The 4th inning, we're already down 8-0. It's absolutely insane. You have the National Series, you lose a 9-3 game. You're blowing leads. I just don't know what else to do anymore. This is the most down in the dumps I've ever been for the Toronto Blue Jays in a long time. I want to say over the last 7 years. I don't remember a time I felt this bad about this team. Nothing is going right. Even the starting pitching today, you get nothing from that. I got nothing to say, to be honest.
You know what? And you're right. I think this is the most down in the dumps I've been too overall. Because some years you expected them to be bad. It wasn't an all-star lineup. So you knew going in. This should be a very good lineup. And it's just not being. And that's what's killing everybody, I think. Is because you see the guys that need to be doing well aren't doing well. You know what? We're going to take a break. I got to break down John Schneider getting tossed because just a ridiculous play. A ridiculous decision to get tossed. I'll get into it right away. We're going to take a break, but I'm going to lose my mind over this.
This Mother's Day, get something thoughtful for mom on DoorDash. Surprise her from wherever you are with fresh bouquets, the latest tech, gift cards, self-care treats, and more to make her day that much better. Get thoughtful gifts she deserves with the convenience you need. Choose same-day delivery or schedule a week ahead for when flowers and gifts should arrive to her door with DoorDash. Hopefully my mom isn't watching this, but I told my mom I was coming over for Mother's Day, but I do have a present already picked out, but my mom loves surprises. So using DoorDash, before I get there, I'm going to get DoorDash delivered a bouquet to her. She loves surprises. Hopefully she's not expecting it. Hopefully, again, she's not watching this. We're just completely playing my cards. But I just figured I'd personalize this a little bit, just show my experience with DoorDash. Great opportunity to surprise your mom. So you can get all your Mother's Day gifts all in one place and get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order now with code LOCKEDONMLB. That's code LOCKEDONMLB. Order using DoorDash today. Terms apply. Today's episode is also sponsored by eBay Motors. Take care of all your vehicular maintenance needs with our partner, eBay Motors. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more, whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your vehicle, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Whether it's a new spoiler, new brakes, a new alternator, or you just want to deck out your ride, eBay Motors has everything you need. They're super easy to deal with, very knowledgeable, and their experts give great advice that is very specific to your needs. So to keep your ride or die alive, you can go to ebaymotors.com. Eligible items apply, exclusions apply, eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available for U.S. customers.
I want to get into the John Schneider thing. He gets tossed today, and it aggravates me because it is the wrong way to handle this. It makes the team look bad. It makes him look bad. And I'm all for emotion. Get pumped up. Get tossed once in a while. You have to. As a coach, you have to be willing to get tossed if something's ridiculous. And it's going to happen. I mean, I've been tossed coaching teams before plenty of times. It is what it is. And sometimes your players need that. It's a little bit of a boost. They got to know that you have their back. There's certain times for it to happen. There's certain times for it not to happen. I'm going to go over the fourth inning because that's where the damage was done. First of all, Bryson Stott strikes out. Sosa gets hit by a pitch. Then Cody Clemens triples to deep center field, scoring Sosa.
That guy's all of a sudden Barry Bonds, by the way.
Yeah.
Just had to throw that in. What an unbelievable day. Just absolutely raking off of Jose Berrios. Don't know where this guy came from, but the Phillies just continue to get great batters throughout this lineup.
Garrett Stubbs walks. Then Kyle Schwarber gets hit by a pitch. Fair enough. Okay. It looked like he swung. It was
he swung.
bit.
He definitely swung. He swung.
Which is fair. They send the call down.
Close, but...
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's a check swing. It was going to be thrown down. It's 50-50 all the time anyway. Gets thrown down. It's determined it's not a swing by the ump. Okay. That would have been the moment. Right there to go out, give your team some fire, show Jose Berrios that you have his back, and that's where you go out and get tossed. Then, Whit Merrifield strikes out. And then Bryce Harper goes absolutely nuclear. And then John Schneider decides to go out. And he decides to make a big deal. Well, damage is done, John. Damage is done. You look like the biggest complainer I've ever seen because you go out after everything's happened. It's not in the play. You get mad at the ump because your team got scored on. Yeah. You get mad immediately. If that's a swing, you go out there, you realize the situation that these guys need a little bit of a boost. Things aren't going their way. You can buy some time that way for Berrios to sort of get back into his head. But instead you wait. You go out after and you make us look like some of the biggest losers because you get tossed and then it's over. It's over anyway. So you getting tossed means nothing. That didn't fire anybody up at that point. They know the damage is done. Game's over.
Yeah, in an 8-0 game, it's just too late, like you said. But with all things considered, I mean, that's a bad call by the third base ump. Obviously, a huge moment in the game. Kyle Schwarber strikes out. You get a Whit Merrifield strikeout. That's 3 outs. The grand slam theoretically does not happen. Again, John Schneider probably should have went out earlier, but finally he actually did something. This is the first time that I've actually been behind John Schneider on something. At least he did go out. Again, probably should have went out earlier, but I did kind of like there was some lip reading that was fairly obvious to me. I'm not going to say exactly what it was, but he did throw out a couple F-bombs, a couple S words, kind of got fired up about it. And I think this is just long overdue. Maybe he's just feeling some frustration. But, I mean, that kind of was rock star stuff from John Schneider. I love that he went out there. Finally got a little bit emotional out there. It seemed like he actually cared about the Toronto Blue Jays for the first time in a very long time. But again, then you look at John Schneider not playing Daulton Varsho. I did like his challenge in the first inning. For me, this situation is starting to build on something maybe for John Schneider. Maybe he's getting a little bit behind his team. Maybe he's realizing he's losing the dugout and he needed to do something to get the dugout back. I love this. I think that your manager should be passionate about the players. Yes, he's got to go out there when it happens. Don't know why he's waiting exactly. I don't know if he's scared of the umpires. I'm not sure what happened there. But at least he did go out. So a little bit of credit to him, I guess. But again, we give John Schneider a lot of grief on this podcast, which all of it is very deserved. But again, you look at today's game, you lose 10-1. Nobody's hitting. Jose Berrios gets mashed around. The bullpen looks terrible. At the end of the day, John Schneider isn't playing these baseball games. You got to get some performances out of these players.
Absolutely. That's 100% correct. I a little bit disagree with you. I love the emotion. And I said, sometimes your manager's got to get kicked out. It just has to happen. It gives everybody a little bit of energy. It fires everybody up, gets everybody involved, a little bit angry. It's great. I love the emotion. But at this point, it's too late. It's too late. When you don't go out there immediately, it doesn't matter. You might as well have sat in the dugout and not said anything because it doesn't matter anymore. The game's over. You go out there then, like I said, you give Berrios some time to get out of his head. You get kicked out. You get the team fired up. And then maybe Berrios strikes out Bryce Harper. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe he still hits the grand slam. But maybe not. That's the moment that you go out there. Not afterwards, after the damage has been done. I don't want to repeat myself, but for me, it's just like John Schneider does everything a little, it's not maybe completely wrong, but everything he does is a little bit wrong. And that's what's aggravating. That's why I'm getting frustrated because I see that play and I think immediately, go out there, get tossed, get in his face, do something. And then nothing happens. And I'm like, well, okay, whatever. He doesn't want to get tossed, fine. Then he goes out after the home run. And I'm like, where was this 2 batters ago?
Maybe you got a text from Ross Atkins being like, you got to do your goddamn job here. Get out there and fire the boys up. But again, maybe he just didn't check his phone. I don't know what happened. It just, again, I don't know why you're not going out there right on time. I'm just glad he actually did something for once. It seems like we finally got something out of John Schneider. Yeah. But again, just a completely terrible game, to be honest. I got a few things I want to go over here. I think it was either the top of the second or the top of the third. I think it was the top of the third. You get an IKF single. You get a Kevin Kiermaier walk. Christopher Sanchez looks like he's starting to lose it a little bit. The command's kind of going out the window. He's not locating very well. And then pretty much the best player, the best hitter to put a pitcher back in his groove comes up to the plate, and that is George Springer. An absolutely tailor-made ball to second base. Completely ruins the rally. Again, the Jays don't even score. I'm gonna say it every single podcast because it just irritates me so much that George Springer continues to be leading off on this team. It makes no sense. John Schneider, I don't understand what he's thinking here. It just gets me so worked up all the time. And they're bunting with Ernie Clement for some reason. George Springer has been hitting terribly all year. Just bunt with George Springer at this point. Move the runners from first and second to second and third. Take the out at this point because George Springer is either going to pop up, strike out, or ground into a double play anyway. He's going to be way more productive bunting. John Schneider is making me hate George Springer as a player. Again, George Springer, the person. I'm not going to get into anyone personally ever, but John Schneider's lack of just mental capacity to move George Springer out of the leadoff spot is starting to make me hate George Springer, the baseball player. It is his fault because, again, the player's got to perform, but John Schneider is on his last. He's already just gone for me. Send him to the moon.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. We've had, if you guys want to go check it out, we did a whole podcast pretty much on the lineup of breakdown, what we think should happen. We had some debate. It was great. You guys put some comments in there. If you haven't seen that one already, go watch that one maybe after this one because it was a pretty good episode. I think it gave everybody a little bit of insight of like, hey, this is common sense stuff. Go check it out. Carter, is there anything else from today's game that really popped off the page to you? Because I know we got some injury updates to get to, and of course, next game preview as well.
I guess maybe Aaron Sanchez is the spark we need on this team. I don't know anymore. Something's got to change. There's got to be change coming, right? Like this is the worst baseball I've seen in a very long time. Absolutely brutal to watch. I hope it gets better, but again, we got Aaron Nola coming up. Sorry. For the next game. It's hard to predict a win. We tried to will the Jays to at least one win in the series. I knew in the back of my head it was going to be a sweep. I should have just said we're going to get swept. I don't see us winning tomorrow's game. Again, we're being negative on this podcast a lot, but how can you not be negative? Like, what kind of positive are you trying to pull out of this game? There's nothing there.
No.
Again, comment anything positive. Maybe just what you ate for breakfast if you had a good meal today. I don't know. We need something to change our mindset here. But Braden, I'm going to give it over to you actually because you keep forgetting about this little thing here. So I'm going to try to drill into your head and we're going to make you do it this time.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I think sometimes it's in my head halfway through the segment, get to the end, and then I've started to ramble on about something and I forget. But make sure you guys check out the Locked On Sports Today 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube as well. You can check it out on the Amazon Fire TV apps. Any insight to any sport ever, any team, any whatever, at any time of the day, you can check it out. We got a ton of experts here at Locked On. Everybody's really, really good, really, really knowledgeable. If you're looking into any team, your favorite team, they have some content for you guys. Make sure you do that. Carter, we got some injury updates, some player updates, some previews. I mean, again, we could sit here and complain for another however long, but we just need something done. We need something done, and there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing.
Today's episode is also sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play fantasy sports because it's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. PrizePicks is fairly simple to play. I can make my picks and selections and submit my entry in as little as 60 seconds. This Blue Jays team is making my head hurt so bad. So at this point, I might as well make a little bit of money off the Blue Jays. I'm just hammering every single offensive under. Again, I'm a big fantasy guy, so I got Vladdy, Springer, obviously, Bichette, all less than 6.5 points. To get a little bit out of my own head here, I'm going to focus on some hockey actually here. So I'm going Swayman more than 30.5 saves. And then I got to go with my favorite team, with the Canucks. Hopefully we can get a Game 1 win today. Brock Besser, more than 0.5 points. If you know which players are going to perform on specific nights, it's a no-brainer. Download PrizePicks and start making your picks today. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit matchup to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit matchup to $100.
We do have some updates on some players. I mean, I think a guy that at this point we want to see hitting a baseball in the major leagues, that's Joey Votto. Joey Votto is apparently working out and taking defensive reps. He has not played a game in AAA, AA, anything like that. And he actually, it's more of a his decision right now. He just says he doesn't feel 100% and he wants to make sure that he is 100% before he makes his return. I mean, he's older. You don't want him coming back too early and him being hurt again. So, and honestly, maybe he adds something to this offense. Maybe not, but maybe he does. And if he can bring anything to this team, I think that's a big help.
Oh, 100%. We need any reinforcements we can get on pretty much either side of the ball as well. Obviously, this bullpen's very depleted. The offense isn't. They just suck. That's pretty much all it is. Hopefully, Joey Votto can be the spark plug, like we say on this podcast, our best hitter right now. Maybe not anymore. You can debate Danny Jansen, but it was Justin Turner, a 39-year-old. Why can't a 40-year-old Canadian do it? Anything at this point to jumpstart this offense. I mean, I was gonna do a video or just a little take on Daniel Vogelbach. But again, after I've watched his last week of at-bats, I can't really defend that guy anymore. Again, tough situation he's in. But Joey Votto, hopefully he can come back and make a difference. I'm just going to shed some light on, like I said, we have a million reliever updates. So I have a couple of updates here on some of these relievers. So Yimi Garcia was having back spasms again, kind of the same thing he was dealing with in spring training. He was planning to test things out before Tuesday's game, and obviously it did not end up going in. So things didn't work out. But it says if he's not ready to go, the Blue Jays will have to consider an IL move because the club has waited long enough. You haven't really heard much on Yimi Garcia. These back spasms started all the way last Wednesday. Haven't really gotten an update on him. It's already Tuesday as we're recording this and sending it out. It's Wednesday, so it's been a week. Bowden Francis, a forearm injury, threw a bullpen on Monday in Toronto. That went well. So he's beginning his rehab assignment. We might see him some point in AAA. Another reinforcement coming along the way is Chad Green. His shoulders continuing to play long toss in Toronto. So again, working towards a return. We need some of these guys back. This bullpen is struggling. They are overworked. They're underskilled right now as well. We just need something from this bullpen. When you have an offense that is barely scoring runs, you kind of need a good bullpen. Hasn't been good, and that's why we've seen these absolutely we got demolished in a lot of these games recently. And part of that is the offense, part of that's the bullpen. You know, when you don't put either of those two together, it's probably not going to work out too well for you.
No, I mean, it's brutal. Yimi's having a great season. Chad Green has been electric, and two of our big dogs right now are out, and it's tough. I mean, it's brutal out here. I mean, there's not much more that me and you can say besides this team just sucks right now. We're horrible. The Jays are horrible. And I don't see in the near future us being better. So I think one of the biggest questions is, and maybe in the next couple of days, maybe this is a question we have to ask ourselves. Where does this team go from here? Honestly.
I mean, in the AL right now, we are fourth last.
Yeah.
It's just not great at all.
No.
Again, I don't know where we go from here. We need some sort of change. I don't even know what that takes anymore. Maybe you call up Spencer Horwitz. Maybe you call up Elvis Martinez. Maybe you make a big trade. But again, you're 16-12. Like, you got to make a decision. Some people are already calling for a rebuild. Again, we are only 36 games in, but we're almost 25% of the way into the season. At what point are we going to stop saying it's early and actually do some damage on the baseball field? It's, again, the games in April and May count the same as the games in September and October. So we got to start winning games if we want to make a playoff push. I know me and you both had the Blue Jays make the playoffs. I've never been more scared for the Jays not to make the playoffs the way they're playing. Again,
absolutely. And you know what? You know what the worst part is, Carter, is like I'm sitting back in my chair. Usually I'm like fired up. I'm right near the mic. I'm getting loud. I hate to say it. The writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall. There was, we sort of saw this coming. And that's the crappy part. We thought they'd be able to get out of the funk, but I mean, we're 30. What did you say? 30? How many games in now?
36 or 16 and 20 right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hate to say it, it's just not looking good. And this might, maybe the bigger discussion is maybe we look ahead. Are we sellers at the deadline? Are we sellers before the deadline?
I don't want to go that far yet because there still is a lot of season. But again,
there is. But I mean, do you see it getting better?
I mean, just looking at the standings right now, like I think we're after today's loss, 8.5 games back here. I'll get it, or 7.5 back of Baltimore right now. If we continue to play like this, we're going to be playing for a wild card spot at best at the end of May. We debatably are already playing for a wild card spot. I don't think we're even close to the Orioles or the Yankees, two teams that are very close at the top of our division. If we're playing them right now, I think we're getting swept. I honestly believe that we're not putting up any sort of offense. Our pitching has not been good. I'm so depressed, man. I'm looking for a will to live. I can't find it. I don't know. Comment what you're thinking about the Toronto Blue Jays right now. Maybe comment something positive. What you eat for breakfast today? If you had a good day, I don't know.
Yeah, did you go for a walk? Here. Yeah,
get some fresh air, clear the head a little bit.
You know what the worst part was, Carter? Me and you went golfing today, and
that was just a terrible experience.
And it was terrible. It was raining. It was windy. It was cold. And then I got back. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lie in bed. I'm gonna throw on the Jays game. That made me feel even worse. And I come on the podcast and talk about how bad this team is. It's just a rough one. And you know what? We got tomorrow's game. Hopefully they can show us something. A little bit of heart, a little bit of fight, a little bit of grit. We'll see. Again, like we said, we're in Toronto, May 17th to the 20th. We'll let you guys know where we're sitting. Come down, say hi. Let's just complain together. We always want to meet you guys. We'll be doing a live, I believe, on the Saturday, right? The 18th?
Saturday after that game, I believe it's at 2:30, and that would be our time. So for Toronto, I think it would be at 1:30. Again, we'll have to check. It's a little bit far away. But right after the game, we will be going live. We'll probably take an hour because we're going to be going back to our hotel room. But I'm excited for that. But I'm really hoping the Toronto Blue Jays are playing better baseball than they are right now. If I have to watch this caliber of baseball live, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to do the 9 beers and 9 innings challenge just to make it through the day.
I don't hate it.
It might be scenes over there at Rogers Center, not for the Blue Jays, but for me, and my liver might be going through it, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. Hopefully the Toronto Blue Jays can pick it up by then. I'm praying for it. I don't want to watch the Blue Jays get swept or even just score 3 runs in a series, whatever it is. I want to say thank you guys for watching. The comments, likes, subscriptions, all the support has been crazy. Like I always say, my favorite part about this podcast is the debates we have with the people, sharing our opinions, our emotions, just it's therapy at this point. It's pretty much a therapeutic session for the Blue Jays fans. You got to get it out because if you internalize all this negativity, it's oh my God, man, it's not going to get any easier. Before we do head out, I wanted to throw it over to our Locked On 24/7 streaming channel one more time, either the Locked On Sports Today channel or the Amazon Fire TV channels app. Like Braden said, pretty much any sport that you can think of is probably going to be on there. Expert analysis, don't miss out. It's 24/7. Braden, I know it's going to be hard to look for, but just give me anything. Give me something that is positive. Just anything. I got one kind of out there, but I think Team Infinity for MLB The Show got released. I might be grinding that this weekend.
I think that's the 10th.
Oh, it's not even out yet? Oh, great. No. Okay.
We're playing tennis tomorrow. Yeah. Canucks tomorrow. Canucks tomorrow.
We got the playoff series again. Hopefully don't get let down. The Canucks weren't playing great hockey in that first series. And obviously, you got to deal with Connor McDavid. You got to deal with Leon Draisaitl, a bunch of other players. Definitely going to be a harder series. Man, if the Canucks lose the series and the Jays continue to play the way they are, I mean,
and your Panthers suck too, eh?
Yeah, you just had to throw that in there. Let's just not even talk about that. I'm really relying on the Canucks here to bring me out of this slump here. Just want to say thank you guys for watching one more time, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.